Good evening, everybody. Welcome to CCSW Rainbow Six Week 5 North America Edition. I'm Brimstone. I'm joined here by Ty Tangles and Red Cube. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
Going well.
Pretty good.
I think
Pretty
we've had a
good.
little bit lighter of a day than you have, Mr. Brimstone.
Maybe just
That's
a bit.
for sure. That's for
It's
sure.
been an exciting day nonetheless, and I think the best is yet to come, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
It means
absolutely.
I like NA a little more. I mean, what? No, I'm impartial.
I didn't hear anything.
Well,
No bias
listen,
here. No bias here.
we're from NA, so it's kind of a bad omen to not like NA a little bit
Yeah.
better, if you will.
And I mean, everyone in EU is asleep now, anyways. So
Yeah.
whatever.
They
It's
don't
fine.
hear it.
It's
They're not
fine.
going to
No.
know. They won't
No.
watch it back.
And
It's
shout
not
out-
them. They don't watch NA.
Yeah, shout out to Brimstone again for those of you that don't know, he not only hosted the EU version of this, which was like a 5-hour long broadcast, right? But I think
Something like that.
Sternab's internet went haywire, and so he ended up jumping up. So not only was last week his first ever on-camera anything in the Rainbow Six realm, but this week he got thrown into a caster role at like a split second's notice because Sternab's internet. So thank you, Brimstone, for being here tonight. I'm glad that you're alive.
If there's one thing that I've learned in life, it's fake it till you make it. So I did a lot of that earlier on.
That's funny.
It's been a pretty explosive couple of days again, I guess, for you then.
Yeah. It's been interesting to say the least.
And speaking of first-timers, welcome Mr. Red Cube to CCS for the first time ever.
Yes. It's going to be very interesting. I'm super excited for today. I was looking at the matchups we had last week, and obviously the competition was definitely heating up last week. And then looking at the matchups today we have at hand, I think there's really nothing you can't look forward to right now. It's going to be good.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Three big names that popped out from last week. We had Maddox, we had
Yes.
Marmalade, and we had Wolfie. There was bloodshed everywhere. It was amazing. It was such a good time.
There was a lot of
think
bloodshed, period, in North America last week. I mean, we had some fantastic games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Insanely exciting.
It's extra.
And I
What I
think
will do. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was
Red
gonna
Cube.
say. I think the thing that we also need to note about with those three players combined, they had over 60 kills. It was 21 kills for Marmalade, 21 kills for Maddox, and I think it was either 19 or 20 kills for Wolfie.
19.
So
Yep.
19, yeah. So overall, I think they got a total of 61 kills, that is, and that's just absolutely insane. I'm
That's
expecting
three people, and
That's
that's
three people.
That's best of ones, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
that's insane. That is absolutely insane. I'm expecting more of it today, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Schedule's
We've got
up.
a great lineup for this evening. First off, we've got Axios versus 8K. Tight matchup, 5th in the standings versus 7th. Then we're moving on to Outdeuced versus Disrupt Gaming Female. Then we're moving on after that to Sinister Red versus Artemis. Then we've got Slaughterhouse versus Victoria's Secret. And then off air, which will be posted later onto YouTube, we've got Queen Yolo Mid versus Powerhouse. So first up, let's talk about this first match. Axios versus 8K. Very tight in the standings. What do you think is going to happen? I'll throw that over to you, Ty.
I don't know, to be honest. 8K has been, phenomenal. And speaking of standings, let's go ahead and have a look at those real quick here. And for those of you that are just joining us, I think I'm. That's how my brain is working tonight. I absolutely am running the production and trying to come up with thoughts, which can be difficult from time to time, but I'll do my best. But here you can see the standings as they are currently. Artemis sitting at the top after taking Queen Yolo Mid down last week. The only 2 3-0 teams after 3 weeks. So that was an interesting match. And if you want to catch that match or any other match, including today's off-stream match, they're always available on youtube.com/CCS Esports very soon after the games are played, within a week. We try to do. But for this matchup, I mean, listen, anything can happen, right? Both of these teams have the same amount of wins and the same amount of losses. They're 2-2. So I think that 8K has had a little bit tougher of a schedule so far, and I've seen them do really good things. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they started out 0-2, and then they've won the last 2 games. So they're kind of on a winning streak right now. And I think they've done a fantastic job of winning those games that they've won. So, 8K is looking pretty good right now, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Right now, if you look at those standings, it's a little bit of a battle for the midfield there, as you see 4 teams with 6 points. And obviously, we can tell that Axios and 8K both sitting at 6 points. This game has a lot of substance behind it because, well, whoever wins has potential to actually get boosted up into the top 4 and take off Victoria's Secret. That is reliant on the fact that Victoria's Secret does lose later on, but just looking at this, there's a lot behind this matchup. There's a lot of points on the board, and these two teams, based on just statistics, obviously statistics aren't everything, but just looking at the numbers, they're extremely even. So I'm expecting a super close matchup and also maybe just some pressure on these players, because if you can get a win here, that could be the difference of making playoffs and then not making playoffs, just getting into that top 4 or staying in that bottom 10.
Yes, indeed. So let's go ahead. Let's have a look at the starting lineups tonight for both of these teams that are starting in the first match of the night. Don't forget, we're doing 4 total best of ones. And Brimstone, would you walk us through that, please?
I would love to walk you through that. So first off, we've got Axios Esports here. We've got Ancient One, Bazinga, Canadian, Lamp, and Lupa Plays. Over on the 8K side, we've got Marmalade, Monster Girl, Zerkit, Niniren, and the favorite for everyone to say, Vawasawaptor.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think our production guy spelled that wrong because the R in Raptor, the first R is also a W, so it's Vawasawaptor. And I say this every time that I cast that, like week number 1, I had the opportunity to kind of interview everybody and, more importantly, try and get phonetically how each of these names are pronounced. And when I was speaking, I can't remember who I was speaking with. I think it was Marmalade, but when I got to Vawasawaptor, I was like, you know what? I don't need any shortening of that because I'm going to say that every single time.
Well, I mean, how would you shorten it anyway? Vawas? Is that
Vawasi? You could call they said you could just call her Raptor, and I'm like, no. I'm going to call her Vawasawaptor. And if she gets a 3K, I'm going to say it 3 times, in quick succession.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard. That's definitely going to be a tongue twister. But like we said earlier on today, I think Marmalade is almost your player to watch right now and could easily be in contention for your idea of an MVP, simply due to the fact that last week, 21 kills is no easy feat. Again, this is a best of 1 where the competition that we saw last week was super, super tight, and getting 21 kills, basically putting your team on your back and then getting a win also. That's just something Marmalade's probably going to have to step up to once again. There might be a little bit of pressure there, but it's going to be very interesting to see how she responds. But we are going to be actually getting right into the map bans here. Ty, what is your first prediction on where you think this is going to be headed?
Well, I'd tell you where it's not headed, and that's Bank. Bank has been, if not the first, the second banned map each and every time. And I don't blame them. And Tara and I talked about this last week, that a lot of these teams have only been together for right before that R6W started, or basically they got together specifically for R6W, and because of that, they just didn't have the time to really have a 7-map pool at a competitive level. And let me just tell you right now, these gals have been playing a very high competitive level. We've seen a lot of meta stuff, of course. Other than that, I really wouldn't rule out any other map. I don't think we've seen Villa either. I think that's very reasonably within one of these teams' map pool, especially ones that are feeling more confident. But, all of the intel that the teams have on other teams at this point in time are on maps in between. You can see Bank on the left, Villa on the right. We've seen, of course, we saw 1 week where we saw 4 clubhouses in those 4 matches. And then the next 2 weeks, we didn't see it a single time. So we went 8 maps without a clubhouse. We saw Coastline, we saw Border. I'm not sure if we've seen Console. We've definitely seen Cafe. So, I'm going to stick with the NA meta and say clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse, I think, is definitely the most likely pick. I think one of the big reasons why is because it's one of the easiest for teams getting into the comp scene to kind of get their footing. There's a lot of VODs of Pro League teams on Clubhouse, so if you just want some type of strats just to base your idea on, it's an easy way to look at it. But another thing is, we all know Clubhouse is very defender-sided, so it allows the defending team to kind of stay back a little bit, and it lets you process your attacks just a little bit more. So Clubhouse is one of those maps that is extremely friendly to new teams. So if we do see this go to Clubhouse, like you said, we've seen a week where Clubhouse was literally every single game. If we see this go to Clubhouse, I'm going to not be surprised whatsoever. But I think the one thing that we could look at is maybe this has been, now we're going into week 5. So teams do have VODs on each other. Teams do have kind of their tendencies, but maybe we'll see a wrench thrown into this and you'll see maybe a consulate come out of nowhere. Or like you said, the cafe comes out of nowhere and we see something we've never seen before. But will that happen? It could. Is it likely to happen? Most likely not.
Yeah, so I just want to give an update. It looks like our little graphic thing for the bands aren't working, but Clubhouse is going to be the map that we're going to play. So as I predicted, you're never gonna go wrong with Clubhouse when you're making predictions. And I expect to see it more than once tonight, just like I usually do.
Yes.
And I am pleasantly surprised when I'm wrong. And I think we got everybody in the lobby. So just a quick adieu to you, Mr. Brimstone. Thank you for walking us through this pregame. Go get a power nap in before we start mount number 2. You deserve it, buddy. And as soon as this game is ready to get going, we will get in it. And looks like we're going to do that right now.
All right, yes, we are getting right into the ban phase, and I say this all the time if you've seen me cast before, but the ban phase is actually my favorite part of the game. The reason why is because it can completely turn a game on its head. Obviously, we're probably going to see typical bans here, but sometimes, well, Maverick, that's a very typical ban. That's as typical as you can get.
Yeah.
But sometimes you might see something that kind of changes the meta up just a little bit, and that's why I love the ban phase. But we've moved, especially in Siege right now, we've moved into this area where you start to see Jackal as well. You start to see very, very typical bans. Maverick and Jackal off the board. Absolutely zero surprises there. I'm looking at maybe Mira, Echo, Maestro off the board as well, but it's actually going to be a Jaeger. That is interesting. So that allows maybe just a little bit more control of that balcony wall, just to kind of hold off that Maverick, Maverick is banned, but just to hold off getting into that wall as long as possible. So that just gives the attackers a little bit of an advantage. You can throw some nades, throw some stuns in there, and it can push that bandit who is ever tricking off that wall. And Smoke also banned. Talk about, I said I loved when people kind of flip the meta, and that's something I've never seen before. I have never seen a Jaeger Smoke ban. I've seen Maverick Jackal all the time.
Right. But
Jaeger Smoke, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting.
Well, it's 100% a counter ban. I mean, like I said, Clubhouse, we've seen pretty much every, as a matter of fact, I know for a fact, we've seen every team play Clubhouse so far. So there's intel on every single team on Clubhouse. And so I think the Jaeger and the Smoke both ended up being counter bans. Maybe somebody did a little bit too well in the roam with the Jaeger or holding down a certain position. Same thing with the Smoke. And so those will be excluded, but that, of course, leaves, like you see right now, Echo and Maestro at the same time. And they will waste absolutely no time getting onto those two operators. I don't see anything that's out of place, although this is kind of a rare treat for us because we hardly ever see both of these operators available.
Yeah, and also a Mira on the board as well. Mira is not as prominent as on Clubhouse as she used to be, but there is definitely quite a lot of strats where you can see a Mira being used. But like you said, Echo and Maestro, it is so very rare to see them working together in tandem, but we are going to be seeing it right now. So what does that mean for defense? I think it actually gives already on a defender-sided map an even more defender-sided favor, as when you see target bans and when you see bans that are just kind of aimed at one player, that means the attacks and the defense are going to be playing just a little bit more loose. There's not going to be as many kind of set strats. And on Clubhouse, that just helps the defenders even more. It's already, like I said, already a defender-sided map. With these bans, it's going to be pushing that in that way even more.
Yes, it is. I feel like this is a treat being able to see both of these defensive operators on the same team at the same time in action. I just don't think this is going to be a very fun attacking round for 8K. But they will waste no time to start getting this wall open. It doesn't look like the bandit is going to attempt to bandit trick this wall in any way, and thus a sight line will get opened up uncontested. Sometimes you'll see some bandit tricking going on just to kind of prevent. But nope, we'll see Lupa on the other side trying to put some batteries down and stop the progression of this attacking crew. Of course, they got the double hard breach, so nothing's going to really stop them in terms of reinforced walls without that bandit being active. Meanwhile, Marmalade will get this castle barricade open up. She sees somebody behind the shield and will just miss the shots. No damage being put down. Meanwhile, it looks like Thermite will get some damage on them. So we got windows open. We got peaks going on. We got crosses not being shot at in time. Lupa still actively juggling these batteries as a minute ticks away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there for Marmalade. She could have found herself with 2 early kills, but it looks like the defenders were just a little bit too fast. As we see Lupa playing very aggressively on that window, is going to retreat back into this construction connector area and support Castle for as long as possible. We actually see the diffuser going down. I don't exactly know how that's not being covered, and just like that, Canadian is able to put that to rest. And we are going to be seeing a trade come out. It's a 4v4 now. Minute and 30 left. We have just reached halfway in the round, and it's already a 4v4, and the plant has already been attempted to go down. But Marmalade finds herself in sight with the diffuser. It's only going to be a matter of time before maybe she goes for that plant once again. But just like that, Monster Girl is able to cut off the rotate onto the castle, and down goes your castle. So you don't have a C4 on the board, but you still have that Echo, and that could come in due diligence here. But we are going to see Maestro also go down, and it looks like this is going to be going straight to the attackers as the diffuser plant looks like it's going to come down. Lupa is the last one with a C4. It is going to miss, and unfortunately, with 50 seconds left in that diffuser down with a retake on the horizon, this is not looking good for the defense.
No, it isn't. Marmalade will actually pick her up right as you mentioned that. Ancient One now stuck in the bathroom stall. Her teammate, I believe, are right by her side, down. She'll go ahead and take the time to pick them back up. But the diffuser time ticks away almost to half, and now entering at a half. Well, Lamp with the ACOG will find one, but immediately get refragged by the woman herself, Volwasawaptor. Ancient One now has to battle out and find 3, but she won't. Zerkit will close things off at 8K, even though they have to face an Echo and a Maestro, will take round number 1.
That's very interesting there. Like you said, Echo, Maestro on the board, and you also had 2 C4s. What does that point to? A lot of plant denial. And the fact that not only was a plant attempted extremely early on and was very close to being put down, but it did get put down very early on. It was around the halfway point in the round, and that's something you don't typically see. So if I'm looking at that round, yes, it's only 1 round, but there are some things I want to fix if I am on the defense side of things. We have access to these very, very powerful operators. You got to make them count. You got to use that Echo for plant denial. You got to use that Echo for intel. And also, we aren't going to be seeing the Maestro here, but you just got to be able to use that utility in your favor just a little bit more, especially when you have access to it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So, looks like I'm just fiddling with the audio settings, making sure that everybody can hear the game sound, and us, appropriately, as we enter into round number 2. A little bit more of a common first sight from the defense. I'm going to consider it a first sight, being that they weren't able to win the defense on the last side of Master Bedroom, and thus all sites are open. So this is a more typical sight, of course, that you see on this map as we enter into it. And pretty much, actually, I was going to say the same lineup, but they will not bring both the Maestro and the Echo. You know, it's kind of one of those things where you want to pick it because it's just never available.
It's just there. Yeah.
But is it actually useful? I mean, they're kind of similar in their duties, right? The 2 operators, Echo and Maestro. They've got the ACOGs. They're anchoring down. This time they'll elect instead to bring, I believe, a Legion for the first time, as I don't remember there being a Legion on the board the last time, as well as the Kaid. So they will have some Electrical Claw ability. They will have the ability to really deny the hard breach. Of course, Maverick being banned, so, you know, drawing the line on the bottom of the balcony wall and taking the bandits out that way. Not available for the attacking squad.
Yeah, and that's typical to see. Most of the time you see this, Zofia is just going to try to stun off that bandit, and I don't think the bandit is tricking, if I'm not mistaken. So this should be relatively easy access for the attacking team. And I don't necessarily know if I like this play, because gifting that much access very early on, especially on this site, could be the start of your demise very early on, as we are going to see Marmalade perched up on this west window, just waiting for anyone to cross. And it looks like she's not going to be seeing anyone, as everyone's just going to be sitting and playing their angles very, very patiently. But already we can tell this round is going a lot slower than last round. And just like that, I think that was actually the K trick from, or did they not get the K? I actually was not able to see that. It might have been a K trick from all the way.
Was. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a very good play there from Lamp, just denying the Habana. And like I said, not being able to get that access, it's going to put a stint in the plans for this attack, and they are going to have to recover. This is definitely a lot slower than last round, as last round, by this point, we already saw a plant coming down.
Yeah, the electrical tricking is very difficult for the most seasoned of Kaid players, so to pull that off, great job on the timing. there. But the wall will finally get opened up as we hear the panel get destroyed. But 2 minutes almost off the board before they are able to do so. Still 10 people left alive. And we see this situation quite often in this league where we're just going to start seeing a flurry of kills. But it looks like the attacking squad has some sort of intel on a roamer elsewhere. And 3 people will decide to flip around and go after them. A huge time waster, especially since I don't even know if there's anybody back there.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, so
it looks like they picked up a scent, but it's just unfortunately not the most accurate scent, as there's nobody behind them, and it's wasted 15 seconds for now, at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they heard a sound or what, but it's wasted a significant amount of time with only a minute remaining. Now we're almost at 30. So they'll open the wall up into the A site here and actually turn their back to a very risky move, as I believe somebody's playing at the top of Cash Stairs with a hold the wall open, but it looks like Nene will sneak in and find a plant. I'm not sure if they hear it going down, but it looks like it will successfully go down. Oh, the yokai will actually come in just a smidge too late. The diffuser goes down. Only a small amount of damage will be done to Nene. And now, with 10 people left alive, it'll be a retake situation for the defense, and here come the kills. Marmalade and Zerkit will find 2, Ancient One will find 1, but the defense is getting picked apart quickly. Bawasa Waptor will find 1 onto Lupa as well. Yes, I'm going to say it every time. Echo and Legion left. Ancient One shall peek out, find 1 more, but Zerkit, with a 2 of K of her own, answers back. Bazinga will find 1 onto Bawasa Waptor, so it's a 2v1, but the timer is almost to the point where there is no turning back. She's going to have to go for it, but she won't get the chance. Zerkit with a 3K on the round will take her down in 8K, 2 in a row.
It really looked like their 8K was in a spot where they weren't going to be able to get the plant down in time, and there was going to be denial from either a gun to the head or the yokai drone stunning you off of the plant. But unfortunately, once again here for Axios, they just did not use their utility smart enough. They weren't able to get that. It was literally a split second for that yokai to deny the plant. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late, and the plant came down. And then after that, trying to retake in that situation when it's a 5v5 and the attacking bodies and the defending bodies are equal, and then every single angle is being covered from the attack, it's going to be very, very difficult for the defense. That post-plant hold there from 8K was very impressive. Every single kind of situation that you could think of was being covered. Obviously, some bodies fell and it did get brought down to a 2v1, but I think control almost that entire time since the plant was put down was completely in 8K's favor. And just like that, it is 2-0 in favor of the attacking team on Clubhouse. Reminder, the attackers on Clubhouse are not favored. The exact split is 42% for the attackers and 57% for the defenders. Obviously, that doesn't add up to 100 because there's decimals here and there, but this is a very
I want
great
the
start
exact
for 8K.
decimals. I want you to add it up exactly.
Okay, it is 42.87%.
I want it to the 10,000th. To the 10,000th split, okay?
I don't have that. Liquipedia only gave me so much. But it's 42.87 and 57.13.
Yeah.
So
hey, real quick, shout out to Liquipedia, by the way. They do excellent coverage on CCS, as well as Pro League and all the other like major Rainbow Six competitions. I know recently Liquipedia was looking for help because they're all volunteers at Liquipedia, and we love what they do, and we love what that. Literally, when it's time for me to like get ready for a cast, I go to Liquipedia and see what the rankings are and the match results. So if you are looking to perhaps spend, even if you got 5 minutes a week, that you could maybe make one correction on Liquipedia, check out, I think their Twitter is Liquipedia R6, where you can find information on how to, get involved on helping them out, and that would be awesome because they are awesome people.
Yeah, they help us incredibly. Even just little statistics and major like schedule issues and things like that, Liquipedia is always the go-to. So if you guys do have an opportunity to help them out in any way possible, we highly recommend it. But once again, we are going to be seeing a very similar attack, but this time around, Zerkut is actually able to open up that wall very early on. So a pretty good thing that we saw last round was the ability of the Kaid trick, but that's not going to be coming out here as that wall has already been opened, and Marmalade is perched up.
You got it again!
And no, actually, she is able to get it. And just like that, Zerkut does have one hole, which is better than last time, but it doesn't have as much control as she would like. So very solid play once again from the Kaid. And that could easily be the difference in this round. But once again, 8K is that slow, methodical team getting everybody perched up in their proper positions and waiting for something to happen. Just like that, Marmalade is able to take down Bazinga, and that's going to be a huge kill. It's going to be a roamer off the board. So goodbye to the Vigil. And you only have the Bandit who is left all on his lonesome. downstairs.
What? Marmalade, the second kill through the barricade onto the head of Ancient One, and that was disgusting timing. And more importantly, that is the yokai drones completely removed from play.
That hurts.
Yes, indeed. So a minute left to go. I was going to say, Bazinga, it wasn't a total waste because she wasted a lot of time.
Yes.
Half the round even, but at the same time, that 2K just ain't good if you're on defense. And excellent Kaid tricking BT dubs by Lamps thus far. Able to really do work against the ex-Kairos there. Kanasia doesn't have a full rotate hole. Oh, she does over to the left side. Essential, so throw some bullets through the soft wall there, trying to delay the inevitable, the 5-person rush from the attacking squad. A couple of women down. But the time ticks away, and it seems that the attackers have stalled out. Perhaps they feel a little bit more on the comfortable side after having won 2 rounds and being up 2 people this time around. They're going to take their time. And here we go. The plant is coming out. Some shots will get thrown through the softball back at the face of the Legion, but underneath the C4 will go off, but not before Lupa could find one. She'll pop up through the floor and find a second, but she doesn't know she's down just because the points are not enabled in this time around. But more importantly, she'll stop the plant. Only 12 seconds left. Here comes the recovery attempt. Do you pick up your teammate or do you go for the plant? They'll go for the plant. 2v4 now. Velociraptor will pick one up, but the defense numbers not looking good. It's a 2v3 effectively, and they will have to go after the diffuser, and they will get it down successfully. Velociraptor with her second will find another. She'll pull out the barb from her foot and set up to defend these cash stairs from the retake now that the defense must put on. And by defense, I mean, of course, Lupa plays, who's already been able to kill one and down another from underneath. She's going to have to ace it out here to clutch this round for 8K.
Yeah, and all of the deck of cards, the one she wants to draw right now is going to be the ace, and it's just going to be very, very difficult because time is ticking away extremely fast. And once again, this 8K post play and hold is very impressive, and just like that, Velociraptor,
her name.
Is able to get the kill there at the end and shut it out. And look at this, 8K 3-0 on the attacking side, and like we were talking about just last round, there is a this is a defender-sided map, but something I want to just briefly talk about is the fact that I think in all of these matches, yes, we can look at the statistics, but there's always going to be a hidden bias when looking at maps like this because we're not in the comms of these players. We're not consistently watching these players scrim, play in ranked, or anything like that, and we could easily see their playstyle goes completely against the statistics. We could see 8K scrims this map all the time, and they're always so much better on attack. So yes, statistics show a lot, but you always got to remember there is a hidden bias behind it all, and seeing this flip of the pattern, although it's not common, it definitely can happen, and it's not something you should like stray away from and be completely shocked about.
So 8K Gaming putting on a little bit of a clinic here on the attacking side of Clubhouse, and Axios, after 2 unsuccessful defenses, and Cash will decide to go down to basement. What is the other preferred site, of course, other than Cash?
Yeah, old reliable, Bazinga, I think we could call it.
Yeah, she'll pull out her primary, then her gadget. Finally, she'll pull out that shotgun to get that hatch open, but that'll be all right. She got there eventually. It looks like a setup for a good, heavy roam game coming out here from Axios, and I'm excited to see that. Yes, indeed, we'll see Lupa all the way up top with the E1D ready to go. We'll also see Mozzie upstairs. So we'll have a 2-person roaming crew upstairs, and I gotta say, I had an argument with the coach for Powerhouse the other day. Not really an argument, but we just tend to disagree on it. I was like, I'd love to see a roam on basement, right? This is a pro league, so there is validity to roaming. It really confuses teams, and they don't know exactly what to do. And he was like, no, you got a turtle on basement. And both of those, I think, are valid points. Actually, he's probably more right than I am. I just think it's more entertaining to see these roamers up top.
Of course. Of course. I was about to just hit on that fact. Most of the time on this basement defense, you don't typically see a deep roam. You've seen it occasionally in Pro League and occasionally in various other leagues, but sometimes it works very well, and other times it just gets shut down immediately. If these roamers can make a presence on the flank and just waste as much time as possible, basically do their job properly, this is going to go into the favor of the defense very significantly. But the one problem that you're going to be seeing with a roam like this is the fact that if 8K recognizes it and says, hey, there's only 3 people on site, they could easily push A, kill 1 person, get the plant down, and you're right back at that retake situation. So we're just going to have to wait and see if the intel is either in the favor of 8K or if the intel is in the favor of Axios. And that's something only time can tell for right now.
Yeah, I want to highlight something that is not indicative or is not obvious when looking at the scoreboard, and that's Nini Ren right now, because she has done a lot of work for her team, although she's 0-2 in the scoreline. She is the first one to plant, and she's gotten 2 successful plants, and almost got the 3rd one on the previous site, but we saw that bandit from underneath stop it. That was Lupa on that kill. She's deployed her utility. She has not gotten picked off early. She's been doing her job perfectly, and that's one of the reasons why 8K has found so much success so far, because we saw prior to this round starting, we saw several with 5 and one with 4 kills respectively, and she was at the bottom of the score. But let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, without Nini, this would have been completely different of a matchup so far. So she's doing her job well, but Canadian set up behind the bomb chassis with the angle on Dirt Tunnel will easily take the head off of Zerkit. Marmalade will refrag, though, as she takes entry onto site behind the box, fighting back and forth. She'll run out of bullets and somehow survive with half health back to the safety of the box, and she'll finish it off onto Canadian. So it's a 3v4 now. I'm not sure exactly what happened back there, but just like I said, there's Nini, the utility person, selling out for the defuse, and we got the 2 roamers upstairs, so there's only 1 actually on site. The roamers will have to make their way back down to contest this, and now we're in a retake scenario.
And once again, I think the thing that I explained earlier on, the one downside to this roam is exactly this. A retake early on, and you also don't have the man advantage. Yes, the roamers have the advantage of not being known exactly where they are, but it's just, you have to retake against a team that has been so good in the post plant, and Marmalade's able to find a quad kill right now. Can she get the ace? So very close, but Monster Girl steals it right out from underneath her, and that would have been the 3rd ace of CCSW, but unfortunately, well, you got so close, but no cigar for Marmalade.
Marmalade ran out of bullets that one time. She barely survived, and then she ran out of bullets right there.
Again,
and couldn't secure. Yeah, the first. I think the only person who has an ace is this. She actually has 2 aces, and that's Maddie. Or no, I'm sorry. That's right. Maddox from Disrupt Gaming. Exactly. So I thought we were about to see another one right there, and it should have perhaps happened. I know that that Marmalade is kicking herself for not finishing it up. Yeah. But either way,
unfortunately, didn't have the extended mag equipped.
Yeah. 8K, 4 straight. They got 2 more chances to attack, and so far, so good. It'll be a Church Arsenal basement hold attempt again from Axios, although this time, I'm not sure what happened with the roamers. I mean, they got hatches open. You know, maybe they didn't, because we saw 2 in dirt, and we saw 2 push, not oil pit, but they pushed the stairs. So it looks like the roamers and the attackers never cross paths once. So the roam game in this. So, okay, Crazy Man, if you're out there, that's a coach for Powerhouse, by the way. You were right. Okay, the roamers did absolutely nothing, and I'm sorry. But here we go into round number 5. 8K up 4-0, trying to take the half with a perfect 6.
It's something that's, I think, very interesting coming into this matchup. Just looking again at the scoreboard. Both of these teams have 6 points, and Axios is technically higher than 8K Gaming just because of round differential. And the fact that we're seeing right now 8K Gaming, they're ahead on Clubhouse defense, Clubhouse attack 4-0, and I think they have almost all the momentum. This is looking very, very good for them. This is a battle for the midfield, like I said earlier. So many people have 6 points, and a win here could easily push you into the top 4. So this is an important game. And 8K, they have been on the heater since losing their first 2. They have gone on a 2-game win streak, and right now it's looking like they could make it 3, but there is still a lot of siege to be played.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another coincidence with 8K is the first 2 games when they went 0-2, they were orgless. They were known as brain dead. And as soon as 8K swooped in and picked them up,
it switched.
Do what?
It completely switched right when they got picked
up.
Switched.
Yeah. It completely turned it on its head. So I don't know what kind of magic 8K has over there. I'm not sure if they're giving them some sort of energy drink sponsor or something like that. But I think I might need to get me some of that. So 8K, hook a brother up. Send me whatever you're putting in the water over there for these guys.
Whatever you're feeding them, we want it.
Exactly. We want some of that, too, for our rank matches. But either way, here we go. A minute off the board. The attackers wasting no time to get this kitchen floor nice and open to push these defenders off of their comfortable spots. And they seem to be just doing that. But Zerkit, actually, the Hibana is the one that's making those angles happen. Usually you'll see one of your entry fraggers doing that because her utility is so coveted to get those hatches open. Only 1 X-Kairos being deployed. I'm not sure exactly where, but I still think that the hatch is closed in kitchen. So I would like to see somebody else, perhaps, doing this sort of work in the kitchen.
Yes.
But right, so far so good, right? She's been doing all right. She got a little bit of damage down on Canadian. She's got a little bit of damage put back onto her as well. And right now, the attackers seem pretty stalled. It looks like they're going to commit to a dirt push as well. So a split push, some from dirt, a little bit from kitchen. Most likely, blue is being pushed. Yes, as we can see, Nini right there. So, but this time they're not moving quite as swiftly. We got Lamp pushed behind the box, ready to fight him out. She'll get droned out, but really that's a safe position to be if you're on defense. And only a minute now left to work for 8K.
Yeah, this is a split take here from 8K, and you actually can see, I think they're a little bit too split up. So many bodies across the map are just littered about, and there doesn't seem to be much correlation or much organization on exactly where they want to push from, and it's exemplified there. Velociraptor is... Velociraptor is in a situation where she gets fragged out and there is no immediate refrag and there's nobody next to her, and Monster Girl is in a position where she could get fragged out. So this is not looking good here for 8K. Time is slowly ticking away, but unfortunately Arena Around the Rosie goes right in favor of Monster Girl and is able to frag out Lupa. So it is going to be brought down to a 4v4, but this is definitely in favor of the defense with only 20 seconds left. Things are looking very, very good for this Axios squad.
Yeah, Bazinga will pick one up onto Monster. That's 2 on the roam. And now the attackers are forced to push in. Marmalade from dirt. She'll actually go in dirt, then run out, recommit, and she will find a kill. Make that 2. The diffuser going down. Zerkit. And the Yokai just not there in time again. That's the second time we've seen Axios with the Yokai, but not able to stop the plant as the Yokai drone was just nowhere nearby. She'll try and find some people, but there will be too many. Marmalade with the multi-kill on the round. Once again, doing a fantastic job with the gunplay, with the entry frag position, and 8K will go up 5-0. And I'll tell you what, the roaming game from Axios really put a hamper on 8K. They took 2 people with them. They wasted almost all of the round. I mean, I swear they wasted 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I don't know how that wasn't enough for Axios to play, but that's kind of disheartening for them. Luckily, they only have to endure one more round of defense before the sides will flip.
Yeah, I think Marmalade is going for her record once again. The highest she's gotten kills was 21, and right now in round number 5, I think she is at 11, if I am not mistaken.
Did we see the scoreboard?
Yeah, we just have to get a quick look here.
Yeah, shout out to our camera guy, by the way, Ted Meister. There he goes. We'll bring it up. She's already got 11 in 5 rounds. Yeah, so 2.2K kills per round so far.
Yeah, and if it keeps going that way and she finds maybe a couple extra here and there, it is going to be very easy to break the record that she set last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. But we are 1 round away now from flipping sides, and just once again, the attacking side 5-0 on Clubhouse is very, very surprising, and Axios have to pick something up here. This is the most reliable site. This is the most viable site on Clubhouse. They need to get this round here, maybe give them some confidence going into the switch of sides.
Yeah, Ted, would you mind giving me a quick look at the scoreboard one more time, if you don't mind, sir? Good sir. Let's see if he can hear me. There he is. Okay, I just wanted to look at a couple of things here. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't want to block out everything. I was going to talk about the roam game from Axios real quick. And we've seen the Vigil come out a lot, and I just don't know how effective the Vigil's been. We saw the Mozzie get a couple of kills on the last round on the roam. I think somebody got kind of picked off wandering into Moto in the last round on the side of Axios on the roam. I think they were being a little bit too aggressive. Once you get that numbers advantage as a roamer, you can kind of sit and wait for them to come to you. And if they don't come to you, you don't wait till the end of the round. But whenever you hear word that they're starting to make their move onto or close to site, that's when you can come up behind them, right? And really poke at them and attempt to waste more time. Even just making noise behind them will force some of them, or one of them at the very least, to turn around and watch that position. That will take guns out of the fight on site. But, you know, I just don't know how effective that's being. Either way, here we go. A minute off the board, round 6. It looks like 8K will waste no time getting onto site yet again. It looks like a battle about to ensue here on the center stairs. Peaks will come up through, but it'll be a crossfire setup on the stairs, but somehow Bazinga will win that. Marmalade just whiffs the shots over the top of Bazinga's head and will pay for it with her life. Bazinga with about 10 life, by the way, as the tracks are sent out once more onto the stairs. So that would be 2 of them wasted to try and stop that singular roam game. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the second I say why Vigil will come out and get a huge opening kill.
Yeah, Vigil, though, if he trips on his shoelaces, he is going to die. Very, very low health here. And something that's very interesting was we're not seeing a bandit trick on that east wall, nor are we seeing a Kai brought. So basically gifting that entire east wall to the attackers is this defensive team, which is interesting because if you give them that much control, it opens up the doors for various different angles and potentially a plant coming down extremely early. But it looks like 8K is not capitalizing on that as of yet. It looks like they're going for a very similar push of what we've seen before, pushing from this connector side as a thermite charge has already been dispatched onto that west wall. And now it's just a game of time. Zerkut is able to trade it out there and finally get the late. Oh, what a shot there from Ancient One. It's almost able to find two, but it looks like it's just going to be bringing down the gridlock. Low on health, unfortunately not able to finish the kill, but 30 seconds left here. We've seen 8K in this situation multiple times, and they somehow find themselves on top of it every single time. Let's see if Axios can flip the script here and win this round out going into the half.
Well, I'd like for them to try and make something happen on defense, and they're in a great position to do so. There's 4 people left alive, only 3 attackers. Ancient One, why are you not on the Yokai? What are you doing? Lamp will find one. Velociraptor refrags right back. 4 seconds left, though, and here comes the diffuser. Nini doing her job like usual. Lupa will stop that with a C4, and Lamp will clean it up. And that will be Axios finally getting a little smidge of a breath here on Clubhouse, but here we go. Is it too little too late? That's the real question, right? As soon as you get your first bit of success, you immediately have to flip sides, which is kind of a difficult proposition if you're a team that's struggling thus far in a match. So they're going to have to win 4 in a row, not completely unheard of, in order to bring it safely back to a tie situation. If they lose 1, they will be stuck facing a match point, which of course means that they're going to have to be perfect for the rest of the game, or else they will lose. So keeping them at 5 is going to be very important here for Axios as they will begin their first attack. And I just remembered, yes, we have Capital on the board as well.
Oh yeah, that's actually very interesting. Surprising 8K did not run Capital, I don't think once, but even they didn't run him, they are looking pretty good when looking at that scoreboard, so it doesn't really matter. But they are going to be going to old reliable, I don't want to call this one old reliable, maybe more new reliable. This is the most favorite bomb site now on Clubhouse, and I think it is the bomb site on Clubhouse with the most defensive wins. So 8K looking to just secure themselves in a position where they can be on match point looks to be the objective here, as right now, based on just confidence and based on momentum, yes, we did see Axios were able to win that last round, but I really do think all the momentum, all the confidence is still in favor of 8K, simply due to the fact they have such a big advantage right now in terms of the scoreboard. They can play a little bit looser, they can experiment with a couple things, and even if it messes up and their calculated risks have major miscalculations, it doesn't really matter because they are up by 4 rounds.
They are, but we've seen some interesting stuff happen kind of recently in the world of R6, where we've seen some major comebacks. Like the last one that came to mind was in Challenger League Week 1, Shrug versus Rise Nation. Shrug were up 6-2. Rise Nation came all the way back and were completely perfect all the way through the rest of the game and in overtime to win it out 8-6. So it's certainly doable, and we've seen it recently. Yes. Now, I'm not saying that these teams are on that same level, but I'm not also counting them out from their ability to do something like that, especially after a role swap. Even though they won the previous round and they got a little bit of momentum to carry forward, the role swap can kind of be like a breath of fresh air, like it feels new. Okay, we got a new objective, right? We got to attack instead of defend, etc. So that could be what we need to see for Axios to start lighting it up.
Yeah, and Siege is the most fluid game on the market right now, so I really think anything can happen. So a comeback, is it likely? Maybe not, but is it possible? Of course it is. We are going to be seeing the wall gain open up there, and just like that, Axios is able to find the first kill, and that's going to be a huge frag. Not only is that a C4 off the board, but that's also Marmalade off the board, who has been absolutely insane throughout the day. So just getting that gun off the board is so beneficial for this team of Axios, as well as the fact they have gotten complete east side control with that wall, and it looks like this push is going to be inevitable here. They just have to figure out exactly where they want to go, as Zofia is still sitting downstairs scouting out the surrounding areas before the execute comes out.
Inevitable. I'm just making fun of you. All right, here we go. Here we go. 2 minutes deep. Nini, it looks like she's going to be in a standoff situation with Lamp there on Capital at the door. Nobody moving a muscle. The attacker's still got a minute, so she could kind of wait and see, but she's actually going to get pinged out constantly. Not sure where that intel's coming from. Maybe the default camera, perhaps a black eye camera. Either way, they know exactly where Capital is. Ancient One on the counter intel will look through the window trying to see just as some shots will come out, and Nini, she'll get some shots on the Capital, as likewise Capital will get some on Nini up top there. Lamp will push in, trying to hold an angle, but Nini will not expose herself in order to get shot out. Meanwhile, Lupa plays on the other side of the map will find Zerkit, so that is the Bandit gone as well. Some shots will go back and forth, and it looks like Echo. Yes, Nini will win it out. Lupa, meanwhile, will get one onto Vawasa Waptor, so it's a 4v2, make that a 4v1 as Lupa finds one with the pistol to get a triple kill. Ancient One easily cruises on in sight, but Nini's still alive, still finding kills. She'll drop Lamp down to the ground. She'll pull out the yokai drone, but she sees somebody, but a TK comes out from Axios, and Axios seems to be falling apart right now. They only have to find one Echo with a little bit of health, and oh my goodness, Nini almost clutching it for her team, but Ancient One will stop her in her tracks. And Nini doing a fantastic job there. Just didn't have the health to finish it out. And multi kills on both sides of the board as Axios wins their first attack.
That was very, very close on the side of 8K, but unfortunately it's going to be Echo's Bones who just rot in the sun at the very end there. Oh, if I was 8K in that situation and I was able to clutch that out, that would have almost secured the match for me. Not only would that have put you on a match point, but that's so much confidence. A play like that where you clutch up a 1v3, just kind of the comms are definitely going to go a little bit crazy, and you just feel so happy with the way your team is playing. But it does not happen. Axios is able to get a round here, and could this be the start of that comeback we were talking about? 2 rounds now in a row for Axios, and 8K, they have had a tendency to kind of slip up near the ends of matches. I think it was in week 2, they were up 5-2, this exact situation. It might have also been on Clubhouse, and it turned into a 7-5 loss. I am not 100% on the numbers exactly, but 8K, they have had a tendency to slip up here. So we're going to have to see, have they matured enough over the last couple weeks to kind of keep things together and not give too much momentum back to Axios, make sure they just keep their foot on the pedal for as long as possible. But if I'm Axios in this situation, I just want to try as hard as possible to make 8K make mistakes and kind of force them into a corner where the only thing they can do is bite, and maybe at the end of the day, you're going to be able to get to that 6-6 point and also be in a situation where you could bring this all the way back from being down 5-1. Again, though, we've said this a lot. Only time can tell if that happens, and we are getting right into the action phase of this round, and it looks to be actually a much quicker kind of get into the building here for this Axios side. So definitely speeding things up.
Yeah, I like to see them have a little bit of confidence and push forward. Of course, you know, they haven't been attacking but that one round. They had a very successful one. Was that a 1v4 or 1v3 last round? With Nini?
I think it was a 1v3.
Yeah, and she got another kill on that Capital Garage, right?
Yes.
So I mean, and that's, ladies and gentlemen, that is the support player, right? That's the support player. She planted, I believe, 4 out of 5 times successfully when 8K was attacking. Zerkit, she'll open things up onto Lamp. That's the Capital, and a ton of useful utility completely gone. Ooh. Meanwhile, so right off of the kill, she'll come right back and destroy one of the Texas Dynamite thermite charges right off of that balcony wall as well. So she's having a good little bit of a round here so far for 8K. Still plenty of time left for the attacking squad to make something happen, though. But being down at Capital when he's so crucial to helping cover a plant up top is not a great way to start.
Yeah, that was a very strong play from Zerkit. Not only getting rid of that Texas Dynamite, but getting rid of Capital. So much utility is off the board now, and you are also reaching the my apologies, I was reading something else. You are reaching the halfway point now in the round, and things are definitely stalling out for this attacking side. The fact that they weren't able to open up that east balcony, and also the fact they don't have that Capital utility and those flame arrows, it's slowing things down significantly. So this is looking very, very good for 8K, and they are on the verge of pushing this onto match point. But we are going to be seeing a kill there, and it's going to be Vawasa Waptor is going to be dead. It's bringing it back to a 44. Not a lot of utility off the board, as that was your castle, and also not a very great gun, but it is a kill nonetheless, and it's just kind of slowly but surely wins the race here for Axios.
Yep, but Marmalade, she'll find one on to Bazinga right back. So that's your 2 entry fraggers gone thus far. We still got a buck Thermite Thatcher on the board, and that will be the second Thermite charge going off successfully this time. Ancient One, that ACOG, a fine Monster Girl, so that will be the Mute taken down. So not a lot of utility on the side of the defense lost. A lot of utility, meanwhile, on the side of Axios. The attacking squad is gone. So the defense kind of sitting pretty right now. 19 seconds left. Yokai shot number 1 will stun Thermite. Thermite will go down and attempt the plant, but will get hit with the second shot, stopping the plant, but she still has plenty of time left. Circuit onto Ancient One, and that's actually the Thermite dead, so they're going to have to come in hot, guns blazing, and that's exactly what they'll do. Canasian onto Zerkit. She'll pick up the diffuser, but cannot get it down to the ground. An awkward position on the table. Was not able to place it, and unfortunate as the time runs out and gives 8K their first win on defense and putting them at match point.
Zerkut came absolutely huge for 8K there. Earlier on, she got rid of the Texas Dynamite on that east wall. She got a kill onto the Capitao, eliminating a lot of utility. And then as we saw Axios kind of prepare their execute, she was able to find not only one, but I'd like to say 2, because the buck was downed. And also I think the buck just being down on the table prevented the plant from coming down. So not only did she get technically 3 kills, but she also technically again, denied the plant because she downed
inevitable
buck on exactly.
I'm just you know, Red Cube, this is his first time here at CCS, so I have to give him a hard time. All right. I've been here for a couple of years, so it's just business as usual for me. So I gotta poke at him a little bit. You know, that's my job.
No, but Zerkut coming in absolutely huge for her team last round, basically pushing them on to match point. And now 8K is in a situation where they could easily close this game out. They're going to get quite a lot of positive round differential from this game if the scoreline remains and it goes into a 7-2. So all things looking up right now for 8K, and it's up to Axios to kind of try to find anything that can maybe turn that around.
Yeah, it's completely up to Axios. And listen, I talked about this before the round started, that 8K and Axios, although they have a tied scoreline, they each have 1 or 2 wins, 2 losses. 8K has had the much harder schedule so far.
Yes,
and we've also talked about how they're on a winning streak. They've won the last 2. I think they made a roster move, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure on that. But either way, they found whatever they've needed to find after losing the first 2 games. This could be kind of disheartening, right? It's your first competitive experience ever for a lot of these women. And to, like, start it out off on stream with, I think that first play day we were having like 1,000 people watching on average. To get smoked like that, if you will, can be disheartening. But to see them kind of find themselves and come back with a vengeance like this is pretty satisfying, and to see their growth as a team as well. But either way, they only have to find 1 more round in the next 4 if they want to take this game without going into overtime, and that is exactly what they aim to do. Nini will try and stop the X-Kairos with the impact, but will miss. The X-Kairos will go off successfully and open up that kitchen hatch. So Axios, good start opening things up, but already a minute gone in this best of 7.
Yeah, this is looking very, very good once again for the defense side of things. And like you said, being able to bounce back from those first 2 weeks with huge losses, it just shows how strong the mentality is of this 8K team. Being able to kind of organize some things, find what was going wrong, and then address it, and then fix your mistakes. That's exactly what you want to do as a team, and that's exactly what 8K has been doing throughout this season. And it's showing here once again. They are up 6-2. They have a very strong advantage. It's the halfway point, and there doesn't seem to be any signs of an execute from this attacking side. Everything is going in favor right now of 8K, and it's just, if things kind of continue, we're going to be seeing this game end a little bit, I think, if I'm on the Axios side of things, a little bit earlier than I wanted to.
Just looking at our production chat here, and admin's kind of ringing in on something. So we want to make sure we get clarification on that. I'm not sure if it has something to do with the new rule that we haven't mentioned, by the way. We had a vote, and as of this week, the Ember Rise skins are banned. So I'm not sure if maybe one of our admins spotted somebody with the Ember Rise skin on. In which case, like, it would require a rehost.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see.
And that's not what it is. That's not what it is about. I guess I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. When somebody tells me something, we'll do it. Until then, we're not gonna
we're just
try
gonna
and
wait.
predict. Yeah.
We're going to be seeing Monster Girl is able to find 1 kill onto Ancient One, and Zofia is going to be picking herself back up. But Capital goes down, Habana goes down. It's a 2v4 now, and everything, it once again is in favor, but Rehost is going to be getting called, and I think that is exactly what we were talking about.
Right.
A little bit unfortunate timing there, as it looked like it was going to be the end of this matchup, but Rehost nonetheless, so this is just going to be a dead round, and just like that, 8K, yes, they are going to win, but it does not matter. This is going to be
I don't think that's the case. I think the rehost
they
has
can't
to be
rehost
called.
it, right?
So I tell you what, we're going to rehost it right now. I think. Oh, maybe not. That was match point. We're going to get clarification.
You can rehost it. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to make assumptions.
Yeah. So either
because
way,
we're
like
not-
that,
we're
the
just
game is
casters.
over, so we don't have to like pause it and do a rehost. So let's have a look at the scoreboard. Okay. We don't know if that's going to be the official scoreboard, and then you guys can cut over and look at our pretty faces while the admins discuss exactly what happened. I guess somebody had contacted one of our admins about, and let's go ahead and move it over to the cameras here, and we'll bring back Mr. Brimstone. Welcome back. So I think what happened, actually, the bottom line is I don't know what happened. I think somebody on the team kind of reached out to one of our admins about, oh, no, okay, so we're good. The match is over.
Are we good?
They didn't call the rehost. So I know that the rule typically, if you have like a player drop or if you need a rehost, it's got to happen in prep phase or in the first 30 seconds of
With no
the
blood.
action phase. Exactly. So it looks like the match is, in fact, ended because the rehost wasn't called in time. That's at least what I'm understanding. We're going to take a break here in a second after we talk about the match and whatnot, and we'll get more clarification for you out there because I'm just as confused as you are.
Yes.
Brimstone, welcome back, my friend.
Glad to be back. So, guys, how did you feel about that match? That was a pretty one-sided match, if I'm being honest.
I think the major takeaway actually from that is it completely went against what I thought was going to happen. I've said this so many times already, and I think I've said a lot of things so many times, but this was better. This game was a battle for the midfield. It was both of these teams had 6 points. Everything looked even on the paper, and then coming into Clubhouse, it completely flipped. We saw 8K start running away with it early, and they just didn't stop running away with it. Yes, it was 7-2, and you might have seen Axios start to bring things back, but at the end of the day, we saw 8K was the much stronger team here. And I think that just goes against what every single stat said and what the predictions were going into this. So it's, I think, pleasantly surprised if you're on the side of 8K, but not so pleasantly surprised if you're on the side of Axios.
Now, one thing I wanted to touch about, Ty, I'll direct this towards you. You brought it up earlier in the match. When Niniren was making those plants, how important it is for people to realize the game isn't just about kills.
No.
It's about the operation. It's about executing that defuse and making it happen. So it's an important role to play. I was wondering if you could continue on that a bit more.
It's one of the most attacking. And like when I started, as I've been playing the game since beta, and I've been around the Siege community since beta. And when I started to play competitive and get into that world, I remember this was back in the day when King George was playing with Continuum. And I remember like what he mentioned to me when he was like, I was like, what is important to you on attack? And he said, when we attack, we want to take as little map control as possible and get the diffuser down. So even back then, that was important. When you get the diffuser down as an attacking team, no matter how many people are left alive, the statistics for how many of those you win post-plant are overwhelmingly in your favor. I'd venture to say more than 70%. And we're talking about, this includes maps where attackers aren't favored to begin with, but once you get the diffuser down, it flips its gears. So it's the most important thing above all else is to get the diffuser down as quickly as possible. It really doesn't matter how quickly you do it as long as you do it before the time runs out. But if you do it quicker rather than later, now the defense, obviously the defense was in a bad spot, and now they have to do a retake, and you can hold angles. And you could peek one at a time, and as long as you stop the diffuser, because somebody is going to be not shooting, right? Somebody's going to be not able to shoot because they're going to have to commit to doing that defuse of the diffuser, beating the diffuser or hacking the diffuser, whatever you want to call it. And so, when that's happening, if you peek in and you kill that person and then you get refragged, that's a win for the attacking team, especially if the numbers are even. So getting the diffuser down is very important. She did a great job. And then she turned around on defense, and we saw her almost catch a 1v4 with the Echo.
Yes.
So Nini Ren, I mean, although she was not on top of the scoreboard, I think was instrumental to 8K's success that round.
And I'd actually,
I mean, sorry,
I'd like to,
continue, Red Cube.
yeah, I'd like to quickly add on to that. It's the fact that we also saw from 8K, they got the plant down every single time. Well, not every single time, but most of the time. And their post-plant protection and their ability to just hold things down was absolutely incredible. So not only did they get the plant down, but they did everything they needed to ensure that they got the round win, even when the plant was down.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's also a lot more exciting for us as viewers seeing a full game being played. I mean,
Yes.
we all
Yeah.
want bloodshed, but at the end of the day, we're not watching team deathmatch. We're watching like a highly strategic.
Listen, we're
game.
blood hungry, okay? We want to see blood.
We want kills.
I want blood, but I want some plants as well. You know.
Yeah.
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 Well, that was a fantastic match here, but we do have another great match coming up. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, it's going to be Outdeuced versus Disrupt Gaming Female. We'll see you there.